Black steel under white cloaks, smiles sharp as blades. They burned every chapel, left halos in the flames. Long live the shadow crown, kings of the hollow vow. Dark nights dressed in borrowed light, ruling from the ruin now. But every mask will crack, every liar's star goes black. Hold your breath, hold your ground, till the real heart strikes them down. They kiss the children, bless them by name, swore on the same book they quietly defaced. True saints in the dungeons, bones beneath the feast. They drink from stolen chalice, call it holy peace. Long live the shadow crown, kings of the hollow vow. Dark nights dressed in borrowed light, ruling from the ruin now. But every mask will crack, every liar's star goes black. Hold your breath, hold your ground, till the real heart strikes them down. Somewhere a blade stays clean, waiting in a hidden sheath. One small oath unseen, one last voice that still believes. When the meek one lifts his eyes, he'll be brighter than their fires. Long live the shadow crown, kings of the hollow vow. Hear the rust in every lie, feel the shaking of the ground. 'Cause every mask will crack, every stolen star turns black. Rise and shout, hear the sound. empty space. I bet it feels so right. No smile, no laughter. It's all come undone. No smile, no laughter under the moon and sun. No smile, no laughter. Where did you run?
Hey everybody, y'all are doing well today. So we're doing things a little bit bug flying around. Get out of here. We're gonna do things a little bit different today. Um, we've been streaming live Twitch and YouTube, multi-streaming, and today we're gonna try Twitch and Kick and see how that goes. Um, we started streaming back in 2017. Of course, this was before Kick was even invented, and we bounced between YouTube and Twitch. YouTube's requirements for monetization are a little bit higher than Twitch's, and so I ended up getting monetized on Twitch, and not quite there with YouTube. But part of the issue, each platform has its pros and its cons. So the biggest con I have with Twitch is the transcoding, the lack of transcoding. Sometimes you might have a week and you'll be transcoded, and then sometimes no transcoded. So unless you have the capabilities of watching at 1080, that's pretty much all you can do on Twitch when we're not transcoded. Whereas YouTube is always transcoded, you don't have a problem with that. But YouTube has a issue with copyright things. Everything is copyrighted. Whereas YouTube will flag music programmed into the game, which does not. And so that's my biggest issue. If you're wanting to be monetized on YouTube, having copyright flags and whatnot can prevent you from being monetized. If they think that, if they deem that the music or whatever belongs to somebody else and they flag it for copyright, that person's going to get the monetization. You're not going to get anything unless you edit it. And so you can either remove it, you can cut that part, which you can cut your stream in half or whatever. You can mute it, which will also mute the rest of the audio, your voice and the game. Or you could try to switch it with another sound, but I'm not sure how that works with background music in games. It probably is not going to sound right. So playing games and having the audio on the game flagged for copyright on YouTube, it's not going to work for your monetization. And so those are the kind of the biggest issues with those two particular platforms. One reason why I'm not going to rush to be monetized on YouTube. But the pro with YouTube is your videos are monetized even when you're not live. So you have a potential to make a decent amount of money if that's what you're trying to do. You're just going to struggle with the whole copyright mess. The other issues with both platforms, this is an issue that they both have, is the numbers. There's a large number of streamers on both platforms. And the issue you have as a smaller streamer, it's harder to grow when there's more streamers. Especially if there's more streamers than there are viewers. Now, I don't know the exact ratio realistically right now, but if you have a large amount of streamers and you have this amount of viewers, there's not enough to go get around for everybody, right? So you're going to have a few who are going to have more than everybody else. So depending on the gaming category or whatever, you're going to have maybe one row that's going to have a large number of viewers, and then all the other rows below that are going to suffer. They're going to have fewer views. And so it's harder to grow. I guess they call it saturated or something like that. It's hard to grow when there's already a large streamer base. So that's one of the pros of a new platform like Kick is there's fewer people on it than there is on the other two, because the other two have been around a long time and they've created a pretty good streamer viewer base. I think Kick also has a little bit less strict on certain rules and policies, and they offer a higher percentage for monetization or something like that. But my main interest right now is growing. Um, as you know, you try to think business minded and whatnot. You always want to grow your customer base, client base, viewer base, followers, whatever. And I was talking about this earlier in Discord. You know, we've been streaming on and off since 2017, and our numbers have pretty much have not moved. We are at 159 on Twitch and 168 on YouTube, and you know the numbers kind of go up and down a little bit. So they might stay the same, and then maybe a couple months later you might get a new follower. Then a couple months later, then you lose that follower or another follower or whatever. So the numbers are going up and down, but they're not really growing consistently. Um, Whereas, you know, some people, they don't have that same issue. They're blowing up. Um, I guess one thing that's a little bit, you know, different between me and them is streaming is a relatively young platform. If you look at most of the really big streamers, I'm not saying it's the case 100%, but if you look at the streamers, most of them are young. Okay, they have less obligations. They can put a little bit more time into being live all the time. And whereas I'm going to be 42 this year, I got 3 kids, I got other obligations. I can't stay live all day long every day. The most I can do is a couple hours a day, 4 days a week. That's kind of about the best I can do at this point until my kids grow up and move out. So I don't have the same availability as some streamers. And don't get me wrong, there's some older streamers that are awesome and they're live and they got a great following and whatnot, and that's awesome. I'm just kind of speaking in general. So being a older streamer, it is a little bit harder to grow, and then it also depends on what games you play. There's always that debate: do I play a new game that everybody's playing, or do I play maybe an older game that not as many people are playing, so that maybe I'll get more views because there's less people playing it? It's a numbers game, and I don't think there's really any right or wrong answer. I think a lot of it has to do with luck. I've tried playing some new games. I've tried playing some old games. Um, Lately, I've been focusing more on the older games, the retro games. If you have not been following, especially Kick, because you know Kick is a relatively newer platform, and I've been dabbling with Kick a little bit here and there. We have played a lot of retro games over the years. We have played Final Fantasy from 1 all the way up to 9. We finished 9, and we've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evilist Chronicles. However, I'm getting a little bit bored with that, so we might move on to something else. I've completed the game before, just not on stream. We've also done Dragon Quest series. We've completed 1 through 3. And I want to move on to 4, but part of me wants to really wait to see if they come out with the remake. You know, they did the HD 2D remake for 1 through 3. And I'm really hoping that they do 4, 5, 6, and 9. I don't really think they've already done a remake for 7, and I played the demo for it. I prefer the original for 7 because they cut a lot of stuff out on the remake. They made it a lot more simpler, and I don't think they should have done that. I mean, the graphics is great. I like that. I like that you can see your people actually fighting in battle. That's awesome. But they eliminated a lot of things in the game. That was a disappointment. I don't really think Dragon Quest VIII is in a dire need for a remake because Dragon Quest VIII kind of set the change. It was probably right around the time that Enix and Squaresoft merged, and so eight is really when you started seeing your party members actually fighting and casting magic and whatnot. Whereas it used to just be you selected what they did and there was a little flash on the screen or a slight little animation, but you didn't exactly see your people fighting. Eight kind of changed that, and they've kind of been doing that ever since. So I guess eight in a sense set the standard for modernizing Dragon Quest. Um, I think 9 was a fairly good game, but it's only available on the DS. As far as I know, it's not even available on Switch yet. They've never remade it. It's just been kind of forgotten. And I kind of enjoyed it. And so I hope that they decide to do a remake and put it on other platforms besides just the Nintendo DS, the tiny screen. I'm like, seriously, I want it on the big screen, you know? So I'm hoping that they're going to remake those. 4 was an awesome game. You have, different chapters and groups of characters for each chapter, all the way up to chapter 5. I think that was the first of the Zenithian saga. And then you have 5, which is pretty cool because it started. You started recruiting monsters in that game, and you find out that you, the main character, is actually not the hero, and there's a lot of twists and turns with the game that make it kind of stand out amongst the other ones. They've also made an anime based on it too, although they changed the story slightly. 6, I played a little bit of. They have the DS versions, of course, sort of remakes for 4, 5, and 6 on the DS. And my understanding is you kind of bounce between a dream world and reality or something like that. So I'd really like to play that a little bit more, but once again, I want a bigger screen. I don't want the tiny little screen. Growing up, we had the portable devices, Game Boys and all that mess, but we didn't play them unless we were going somewhere. If you're at the house, why would you stare at a tiny screen when you could look at the big screen? And that's one of the good things about the Switch is you can play it on the big screen at home, and then you can play it on the little screen on the go. But as far as I'm aware, Switch 1, I don't know about Switch 2, you can't do any kind of streaming with it. You're going to have your camera pointed at the screen, basically. No, correct. No, you could use game capture. I guess you could do that if you want to do that. Which I haven't had a whole lot of practice with. I've done it a couple times. I have this one. I don't know if it's the best one. It's kind of dusty. Lord. Find the camera here. There we go. I have that one. The one thing I do remember, there was a little bit of a delay between the screens. So what you would see would be a few seconds after I've already done it. So being distracted, if you're ADHD, it's kind of like, oh, what's going on? But I'm kind of holding off on them because I really want them to make a remake like they did. Although history shows they tend to favor 1, 2, and 3, the Erdrick saga, or Roto if you're Japanese. They favor those 3. And to be honest with you, I prefer the Zithian saga. I don't really care for the Erdrick saga all that much. It's okay, but I don't feel the story is as in depth as the Zithian. So I'm kind of trying to hold off streaming that. We might eventually get to Dragon Quest VII, the PlayStation original version, because even though it doesn't have the pretty graphics, it has better content. It's not as simplified and there's more detail in it. And then we'll eventually move on to 8. And then, unfortunately, like I said, 9's only on DS. I hope they remake that, and so we can play it on the bigger screen. And then 10 is the MMO. Most people can't play that, although I guess some people are, and they found some way to get translations, I guess through Google or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But Japan doesn't really want to give it to us. My understanding, it's an MMO, but it's still turn-based. And they talked about maybe giving us a single-player version, but then they didn't. So that's very disappointing. I do have Dragon Quest XI on PlayStation, so we did stream that before in the past, so we'll probably start over because it's been so long, but we'll get back to that. They're still talking about 12. As far as I know, nothing has really been decided or done with 12. As far as Final Fantasy goes, 10 is the next one. And I do have it on a PlayStation 2 emulator, but I really need to get the settings working better on that emulator. There's slowdown and lag, and the text is a little glitchy. So I need to get that straight before we can move on to Final Fantasy X. But a part of me wants to buy it like on Steam, and then do it that way. That way it's going to be less glitchy and laggy. We're not going to do 10-2. I was not a huge fan of that. It's the Charlie's Angels of Final Fantasy. 11 was an MMO. I don't have that. We probably will skip that. 12, I plan on doing 12 when we get there. That's also, I think, PlayStation 2. 13 was not a huge fan. I think I would rather watch somebody play it than play it myself. 14 is an MMO. I do have that, and we have streamed that a little bit. And then 15 I have on PlayStation. I've dabbled with it a little bit. I know it doesn't have a huge fan base. But we'll probably at least give it a try. I remember enjoying driving around in the car, playing the music and whatnot, which is probably going to be copyrighted on YouTube. Let's see, 15, 16. I do have 16 on PlayStation, which is a little bit more action-based. But the storyline seems fairly decent. I've played it for a while, and we'll probably do that on stream as well. And I don't think they're even talking about 17 at the moment. So I think that's kind of it for Final Fantasy, besides the few spin-offs here and there. With that being said, we're also playing Lufia. And maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll just kind of phase out Final Fantasy Tactics, or maybe we'll just go ahead and finish it because we're right at the end. And then we'll just focus more on Lufia 1 and 2. And then maybe eventually we'll get back to Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. So if you missed those series and Lufia episodes and whatnot, there are playlists on YouTube. That is one good thing about YouTube, is it keeps your videos. You don't have to worry about a limited amount of space or them being deleted after a period of time. You can keep your playlist there practically forever. So all the playlists are there for all the games I've ever played. If you want to check it out, feel free. Same thing, those of you on Kick probably missed several episodes because I have not been streaming regularly on Kick. So you have not seen the previous episodes of Lufia. So if you want to, feel free to check that out on YouTube. Catch up. Alright, speaking of which, let's pull up Lufia. I guess you know what emulator I'm using. Alright. I'm going to have to get reused to the controls. You know, every RPG game, it's a little different, right? So this is the button. Okay, so where we're at, and please let me know if I need to adjust the volume in it. Okay, I can't exactly hear the same that you're hearing. I know I need to turn mine down a little. Okay. So where we're at is we ran into Gatus, one of the Sinistrals that Maxim and his crew defeated, and it's been 100 years, and Gatus is back, and we're trying to find out why and what to do, basically. So we met with Guy and guy was human, and yes, he was 100 years old. And sadly, he ended up dying while we were talking to him. But he said to go meet the elf. Some people might call him Artie. I call him Artea because I think it just sounds better. Potato, you know. And so elves live longer, so he suggested we go talk to him. But he's in a town called Elfreya. The only way to get into Elfreya is you need an elf. So we've been advised to go to a town near here where there was a elf. We find out that the town has been suffering attacks from monsters. So their plan is to sacrifice girls to the monsters to convince them to leave them alone. I don't know what they're going to do when they run out of people. But the girl was a half-elf girl named Jaren, I think. And so we came all the way here to this nice little shrine. She was up there, and the monsters came and took her. They took her to her tower, so now we have to go to that tower and save her. In the meantime, we can also do a little bit of leveling up, and with some free healing here. So we got a vase that heals both magic and hit points. Don't have to pay nothing. So if we wanted to, we could just spend some time walking around, fighting, leveling up. And then when our hit points and magic get low, then we can just go into the shrine and heal and even save. There's, of course, two ways to save. We can save with the emulator. This one right here. Boom. Or we can save through the actual game. But we kind of do both, just in case something happens. And it does happen. I think we had it happen with Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire 2, I think it was. Alright. The Sandman. I wonder if Dew will work on it. I think it would harden the sand, right? Raise their defense. That's not magic defense. It was a decent amount. We turned them to glass with flash. Of course, they use flash. Don't need to. Alright, we went up a level. What's nice is they tell you how many experience points left you need. That way you can kind of get a good idea what you need to level up. Alright, well we don't really need sweet water anyways. Also use Bang, which hits everybody. With 169 experience. Don't think Dew's going to hurt them much, so we'll just Bang. Oh, she healed. She's dead. Now, see, we need to build up. That's why we're getting beat up here. One of the issues you have with this particular game, because it is a little bit old school, is you don't entirely have control over who you get. Unless it's a single enemy. Okay, you can choose one group over the other. But when they're in a group like this, you just attack and then the computer decides which one of those flowers you're going to hit. So, whereas in the modern games, you could choose within the group. You're like, well, I'm going to hit the same one that my friend hit. That way, he's guaranteed to die, right? Well, this is completely random. So, you might have one person hit one thing, hoping that the other person's going to also hit it, and then he doesn't. Also, if you collect a monster and the other person kills him, instead of the person you just commanded attacking the monster that is standing there, I'll be able to talk here in a minute. He just misses. He tries to attack the monster that's not there anymore and misses. Which is not very realistic. Nobody's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna fight you. Oh, he's already dead. That's okay. I'm gonna swing at a dead monster anyway. It's just the old school. Luckily, you know, they've improved that in some of the more newer games. Let's attack. She's got strong herself. If she gets a chance. Now Guro's gonna die. Nope, he didn't. Oh, I didn't get any experience. Usually, she does not hit first. Let's try to heal here. Be healing. Was it the mimics that gave us good experience, or was it just the money they gave us? Did we cross the bridge so these monsters aren't as tough? That's how they also did it back in the day. You would have weaker monsters around this town and area, and then as you cross bridges and whatnot, then you would run into stronger enemies. Trying to get to the cave. I think there's mimics in the cave. Didn't kill him? Really, these poison rats. I gotta watch out for the orbs using mirror. Got an emerald. I think. What's this? I think the only point is to sell. We already got rings. Okay, don't do anything. We gotta do a little bit better about healing, huh? Ambush, there's a mimic too. Gotta kill that mimic. No, he ran away, come back. Chicken. He just missed. I see the waterfall and I'm reminded of Dragon Quest VIII. Don't throw things in the fall water. Here, mimic, mimic. Well, about 3 more battles, and we'll go up a level. Mimic! That's what I want. Bang. Nice. Like critical hits. Yes. Yes, 739 Burrow went up a level. Okay. So a lot of RPG games, not all of them, but a lot of these old school RPG games always has at least one monster that gives you a lot of money, one monster that gives you a lot of experience. And I guess sometimes they also merge them together and it's one monster gives you both. So I guess in this game the mimics give you a lot of experience. Wish I had Spark. I'm gonna have to go back and heal our magic here. Enter Sandman. Old school song there. They played it in the movie Back to the Future when he went back to, what was it, 1955? Alright, let's get our healing going. On button. They did the same thing to you in Final Fantasy. It was one button scheme, and then when they got to Final Fantasy VII, they changed it. And so you had to like relearn buttons. Sand Rose. Alright, we need some more mimics. Ah, 2 of them. Yes. Look at that experience. Woo! What I'm talking about. What is Dwarves Monster Magic. Well, that makes perfect sense. Probably flash, but I don't think it's going to kill me. Mimic's back. No! Kill him! Got one. Let's see. Menu, magic sword. Head up there. Hopefully we can get them before they use mirror. Got a little more experience because they kept asking for help. I don't know why they didn't call it antidote. Something like that. You would think poison would mean I'm trying to poison someone. Come on, mimics. Ah. Don't run away. Wasn't a very good hit. These mimics are a bit tougher. This one's better than none. I was looking forward to that 1,000 experience point. To get some more magic points. Alright, we're gonna try. See if we can rescue her. There's the tower. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Well, that was something. There's. Flash ring. Nothing there. A long nail. The roof has many warp zones, but don't step on the one at the far end. Far end of which? I guess at some point we probably need to go back down and check out the other areas. Paralyzed. Yes, I did that on purpose. Oh man. did not go up those stairs. Like hidden rooms. Alright, let's try these stairs. Where they go? Gotta memorize where the holes are. Did that on purpose. Wow, I thought sure he was going to be dead. Really? Usually you kill him. Nobody's killing anything this time around, I guess. Lord. Get the wrong one. Now, the beauty of the emulator, we could also go F2, save. And if we fall in the hole, we could just reload it. Alright, so there is no more stairs. We found all we can find here. Now we need to go back to where we were. Have a lot of magic. Alright, let's head back to that little shrine. I'm gonna use another one to save some time. Alright, this is where we're gonna save, and I will be right back.
I see your face, reflection in the mirror, like a window to the life we never figured. My hand reaches for yours, but it's touching empty air. We're stuck in the upside down, like we were never really there. We're locked behind doors to the past. Every key that I find turns to glass, and it cuts when I try to move on, bleeding through every old soul. You're a ghost in the frame on the wall. I can't tell if you're there at all. Still I reach, still I fall through doors to the past. Coffee cup on the counter, lipstick print you left last June. I talk to the quiet kitchen like it answers just like you. I trace our names in the dust on a shelf we never cleaned. Whole world in black and white except the colors in my dreams. We're locked behind doors to the past. Every key that I find turns to glass, and it cuts when I try to move on, bleeding through every old song. You're a ghost in the frame on the wall. I can't tell if you're there at all. Still I reach, still I fall through doors to the past. What if I don't want out? What if I stay right here, talking to your echo, tracing your
All right. So, we're going to cheat a little bit because we do have an emulator. We can save whenever we want. That way, if we make a mistake. Yep. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Maybe again. And don't use that one. I'm glad it actually looks different. It takes you back to the very beginning. Good. Aemon will be revived. This daughter will be our key. No one can stop us. Hey, Aemon. Aemon, minstrel of terror. No, it's not possible. No, Aemon? That's splendid. Now you shall help us as well. Main defense. I doubt it's possible. He's definitely using magic. Alright. We're gonna use No! Wake up! No. Bacon. There's all this bacon. Bro woke up on his own. Oh, he's healing himself. Gotta be getting low. Got him. I'm so happy somebody saved me. Kidnapping. I won't stand still for such nonsense. In any case, no one was hurt. Can you stand up? Yes, I'm fine. I'll take you as far as the village. Well, Jaren, we have to leave. It's time to say farewell. What? Enjoy the village's hospitality. Take care now, Jaren. Excuse me, please, if you don't mind, take me with you. It's dangerous where we're going. We really can't take you with us. I'll be in your way, won't I? I didn't say that. You saved your life. I'd hate to see you lose it. You're right. Life is precious, isn't it? That's right. Well, it's time to go. Wait a second. Please take this, just to show my appreciation. Will I see you again someday? I can't promise, but yes, you will. I know, we'll meet again soon. Take care of myself, and you take care too. I wonder if Jaren will ever forgive us. East of the desert is the village of Surinigal. Beware that the desert is dangerous. Can't face Jaren. I'll make myself strong, then we'll be able to protect our village without paying any ransom. Monsters will never attack the village again. What a relief. You're so strong, I want to be just like you when I grow up. Good, you defeated the monsters. Aaron is fine, I don't know how to thank you. People in the village are also saying they finally learned how to stand up for themselves. Finally, we can go outside without fear. I'll apologize to Jaren, even if she doesn't forgive me. At least she'll know I'm sorry. Monsters won't attack us, will they? Alright, so we have to go east. But before we do that, we're going to go to Noble. See if we can do another old cave mission. Let's go to the 4th level and find the crown. The reward is 2,000 gold pieces. It's pretty tough. Good luck. Crown. Going down. What will we find on the 4th floor? Smoke ball. Empty. Well, let's go. Oh, we've been ambushed by gunmen? Gunmen. Alright, they're not too tough. 2 is not strong enough. Flash probably would be. We found a float. There's the crown. That wasn't hard at all. Rod's probably cursed. Weaker anyways. Need to cast float. I guess we could probably use Bang. Try to take out as many as we can as quick as we can. Empty. Stronger. Throne helmet. Have some light robe. That's better. Buckler, monster. Hunger, yay! Flame ring. No point in equipping the flame ring yet. She doesn't have any fires. Heals light armor. He already has light armor. He does not. Raises agility, lowers everything else. I'm gonna say no. Empty. Can't imagine why some would be empty and some would not be. I think that whoever was here that emptied the one treasure chest would have emptied all in the room, right? We got the crown, so we can actually. Sell some stuff. Where's the item? There it is. That was worth a lot of money. crown. We gotta wait till we're at level 20. Yeah, level 20. Excuse me. Alright. We are going to use another swing wing. Back to Belgian. At the end, nice fully heal. Alright guys, that's all the time I have today. I have to go get my daughter from school. But I will be back on Monday, and we'll probably play some more Final Fantasy Tactics. We're right at the end, so we'll probably just go ahead and head in that direction. We were doing the bonus dungeon, in a sense. The ruins that you have to go down in, and it's dark. And if you kill an enemy and they eventually turn into a crystal, the crystal helps light up the room. But the whole point of going down there is to find hidden treasure, so you gotta have treasure hunter on your feet, and you have to step in the right spot. The thing that kind of got me a little frustrated is it's random. So like we were on the one floor, and the one spot you get Save the Queen, is a sword. There's only one other in the game, and one of your characters is using it. Can't buy it or find it anywhere else. And so we stepped on it, and we got a phoenix down instead. Then we completed the floor, and I was trying to, do the floor again to get the sword back. Get another chance to get the sword. Once you get the phoenix down, that's it. You don't get another chance. So what I should have done was retried the floor instead of completing it, which I was not aware of. The game did not make that clear. And so now we can't get to Save the Queen. We're not. And all the way at the very end, it's kind of similar. You get a sword called the Chaos Blade, which is the strongest knight sword in the game. And you have to find it as well. And it's like knowing it, the game's going to give me a phoenix down instead of what I want, because it's completely random. And so you're going to be constantly retrying and retrying and retrying. And we were trying to do that with stealing the Genji armor earlier at Limbury. And it took forever. We finally got it. But then Ramza didn't learn Ultima. And I didn't want to go through that whole hassle of trying to steal the Genji equipment again. So I'm just like, eh. So then we get to another part in Malund at the cathedral. And we're fighting a Ultima demon. And we're fighting a zombie version of Zalbag. And we were trying to get the Ultima demon to cast Ultima on Ramza so he can learn it. And the Ultima demon just wouldn't do it. No matter what we did, he wouldn't cast it. Even though he has the spell, Ultima demon, right? The game just wouldn't do it. So we got tired of doing that, and we were like, boot, and we went ahead and finished the battle. So we'll probably end up doing that. I know I finished the game before, and then I've done playthroughs with the PlayStation 1 and using Game Shark codes, which definitely made the game a whole lot better. You didn't have that issue of one-of-a-kind sword and you're going to miss your chance. All that mess. Plus, you could give people more specialized job classes, like Ramza. He's the main character, and all his brothers have special job abilities and whatnot, and he's got the same that everybody else has. He's got nothing. There's nothing special about him at all. So with the cheat codes, you could do that. Now, from what I saw recently, there are mods where you can make some changes on Nexus. Most of it's cosmetic, but you can. What I saw, there was a mod that gave you all or nearly all the equipment in the game. You can add Dark Knight and Onion Knight, which was added in the PSP version and stuff like that, but you have to download a separate mod loader, and it's a big mess. It's like, I don't know why they didn't design it just to work with Vortex. Why do I have to download another mod manager? It doesn't really make sense. I got enough crap on the computer as it is. I don't need to be bombarding it with more stuff. So plus we're at the end of the game, so it really wouldn't make sense to do it anyway. But anyways, we're gonna go back to Final Fantasy Tactics Monday at 12 p.m. I hope to see y'all there. If you haven't already, why don't y'all follow those channels if you like, and don't forget the notifications to let you know when I go live. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you.